Alright, what's going on YouTube? So, doing something a little bit different here today. This is the first time that I've done narrated a race, so make sure to comment below and tell me if it's something that you like or not. So getting going here. I love the fact that they played music at the start. That really helps get you in the zone. And you can see that I did not get the greatest start, unfortunately. So we're all just kind of funneling through, finding our spots, and then, what do you know, end up getting stuck behind a dog pile here, and it looks like I'd be able to back up and go forward, but there's just people everywhere. It's an absolute nightmare. As you can tell, I'm a little bit upset, but you know, making the best of it, and obviously a day on the bike is better than a day in the office, right? So, really cold out today. This is one of the last races of the season, and just making the most out of it. Took a lot from this race. This actually was the first time that I've raced Southwick, and certainly the first time I've raced in sand. So I learned a lot, and I think that next year there's going to be some tire changes needed. But yeah, let's just tag along and enjoy the ride. That was a little sketchy there. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Could actually hit my bark buster on the side of the tree a little bit there. Ooh, there you go. And of course, since I got a little throttle happy, I had no choice but to go into the extreme section here. And I typically do go into the extreme section. For whatever reason, it seemed like this was actually the longer way around. Of course, getting stuck behind folks doesn't help, but this is actually a really long extreme section, and these logs were a lot taller than I think they typically are. That might not be true, but it just seemed that way, maybe because of the sand. But you can see I'm kind of yeeting it over the logs. Got over those two, and then we're back and moving again. That's fun. Ate a little bit of handlebar there. So the night before it actually rained quite a bit, and like I mentioned, it's cold out, so it's cold, wet. You know, it's pretty slick. You'll see that especially on the motocross track here in a second. So we're all kind of getting used to the conditions, and I know I really struggled with the front wheel and just getting the bike to track where I wanted to. I'm actually running a really high riser. This was the second race that I ran it. And long story short, I'm not likely going to keep that on much longer. In fact, it's going to come off, I think, before the 2021 season starts. But you can see some ruts already forming. The camera doesn't do it any justice, but as you'll see in a couple seconds with all the mud flying or sand flying, it was deep and a ton of fun, but a little bit out of control at some points. So as you can see, kind of picking my way between the sand and trying to find a decent rut. I'm definitely not the most comfortable in a sand track. I gotta do some practice days down in Southwick if possible, or just on a similar track. But you can see there's a bunch of people who clearly have a bit more experience in the loose stuff. little bit frustrated there. That turn was really off camber and extremely wet, slippery, and just all around challenging. And coming up here in a few seconds, this is probably the most fun part, at least for me, on the entire track. This uphill section. I don't know if I'm going to do it here, but you could just let it straight up eat up this entire hill, with a little, with not much fear at all of getting hurt, because you're going uphill, and if you fell, the crowd's relatively close. But I really enjoyed that section. They've always had this section here in the race in past Southwick races I've attended. I've always felt it's a bit tight, but tons of fun. It offers some really unique passing opportunities in the trees here. Now we're racing, a little bit hectic. People are falling, bikes are screaming, trees are flying by. This is what it's all about. Got the pass there. And like I said, this is the first race of the day, so I was a little bit cold, wasn't super warmed up, but I definitely had the most energy out of all the races of the day, so it's a lot of fun. The final section of the lap, so we just come down here, take a left-hand turn, and then the finish line's up here. Just a bit of light come through those trees. New England in the fall is actually a really beautiful place to ride and race. Got a pass there. I'm not sure if he was in my class necessarily, but it always feels good to pass somebody. Trying to get around these next two couple guys, weaving in and out of the trees, trying to find a line. I just couldn't find a line. There we go. But I couldn't quite make it. Again, the video doesn't give it any justice, but those whoops in the woods were really deep. Opening up a little bit here. And this time I actually specifically chose to go into the extreme section. Just trying to find a clear path. Shifted down into first. And you can probably tell by this point I'm starting to lose steam a little bit. Only one lap in, but got a lot of work to do in the gym, so to speak. Look at all that sand flying, covering up the camera. So unfortunately, that's kind of it for the first race. My camera got covered up in mud and or sand rather, and I missed the majority of the laps because I was focused on the race rather than covering the camera. But great race. You know, a lot of things to take away from the race. I actually met a lot of good people, and you know, if you're watching this, Cooper, you know, congrats on getting the bike back, bud. It was nice to meet you, and looking forward to being right there with you again on the line next year. Ate a little bit of a handlebar there. At this point, trying to, you know, push for any last ditch effort I can to get a couple last minute passes in, and unfortunately, you know, I actually ended up getting past. Something different out here. If this is something that you guys like, just make sure to comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.